Alright, there we go. It's all running. Good. Welcome to a new Let's Play. We're going to be playing Banished, and on top of that, we're going to be playing Colonial Charter. It's a mod for this game that expands it dramatically. Just incredibly so. Yes. Now, for those of you who don't know, Banished is a sandbox survival game. Kind of. It's also a city builder. It's all the things. It's all the things I love about random games, and it's a indie game, which is always nice. Let's mash the random button a little bit. See if we can't get a good town name. Yes, I know this is a terrible start to a new series, but at the same time, I didn't really know what to do. Welcome to spring break. So this is kind of going to be more recreational than anything. Lisburg, Lennon View, Potterstow, Cumsburg, Wisney, Lonerish, Corsi, Barkus. This is the hardest part, is getting a good town name. Saundersville. Okay, mash the random seed. Alright, now we're gonna go with the standard valleys map. Terrain size, we're just gonna go down to large. Because we're gonna play relatively normal-ish. Like, there's a lot of settings that are added in exchange for the variousness, and we're gonna go fair weather, so it's not good, it's not bad, it's just normal. Disasters are fine. Starting conditions. Now this is where Colonial Charter becomes huge. It adds a ton of possible starts to the game. Hard is you literally get dropped in the middle of the wilderness with a cart and 4 families, and that's it. Medium gives you 5 families that you can pause the video and read. Everyone knows my voice is aggravating, so I'm just going to try and go ahead and let you read the alluringness. Yes, there is farming. I am not even going to attempt some of the weirder ones, I guess you could say, for start conditions. And since we're going with a relatively normal, we're just going to go on hard because, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, let's go. Now we're into map creation. This is the long part. I'm probably going to have a little bit of a frame rate drop for a second. Hang on, let me get rid of that. There we go. As I say, I paid for the full recording software. I do not need to have their logo in my Let's Plays. So, yes, we're going to see if my little webcam's in a good spot or not. But I did a poor job of explaining what this game is. So, well, it's loading and generating the map and everything. I'll see if I can explain a little bit more. So, the premise is as follows. You and a handful of families... Okay, pause. Ah, there we go. Background music, which has been expanded by Colonial Charter. Let me move myself down a little bit. Whoop, back we go. Okay, so the premise is very simple. You have a handful of people. Those are not my deer. Hi, deer. Anyway, and a cart. In this cart, we have a little bit of stuff. Now, as you'll notice at the beginning of the game, the UI is very, very minimal. That's because this game is a fully configurable UI. Come in here and and each of these is a different... Oh, we're gonna go with that. Woo. Let's go with the scrollable one. No, the big one's fine. A modifiable UI that lets you have whatever you want. Okay, I actually need this information, and since the recording info is in the top right corner, I can't really see it very well, so we're going to put it down there this time. And the map is just to kind of give me an idea of what's around. So, yeah, welcome. This is Banished. There's a big river. Now, the big river is good for fishing and trade. Yes, this is not the first time I've played this game. There will be some Let's Plays that I will do that I have no clue what I'm getting myself into. But this one I actually have some decent idea. The big lake is strictly fishing since it's not connected to the big river, which is where the traders come in and go. Now the little streams are more annoying than anything. They do give you access in Colonial Charter to things like gravel, sand, and I think some other resources. Now, I am relatively new to Colonial Charter, so this is not optimal at all. So just gonna kind of pick a rotation angle. I mean, the old isometric look is something that I'm used to and comfortable with. I haven't done a Pharaoh Let's Play, but it is coming. So we're going to go with this as our primary view for now. Now, first thing we need to figure out. Well, we have some food. and it's early spring. So our first priority is to get some basic living quarters put together. Now, normally I'd go run a road up to the river and go for fishing early as a food source, and we might still do that. Let's go ahead and get a dirt road so we can have an idea of what's out here. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So we're gonna start. Now there's a lot of raw things. We're gonna go into raw food gathering, fishing dock. So the yellow circle, we want as much of that in the water as possible. However, we also, it's the radius of the fish effect, basically. So we want as much river in that circle as possible. And we also want to never have a second fishing dock is radius touch that radius. Because then you'd be fishing an area twice, and that doesn't work, like, at all. Alright, now we're gonna run a road down here, because the cart kind of gives us an idea for a city center, and I'm gonna put split. So half our people are gonna stay general laborers. They do everything. They're shipping, they're moving crap, they're cutting down trees, they're mining rock. They're the brute workforce. Then there's builders. It's kind of nice that now they actually have little tooltips, which is quite nice. And then we have some builders whose job is to, like, put up the road, build the buildings, and whatnot. So actually, that's going to be in the way. Hang on. Okay, hang on. Ignore that moving. It's just because I'm entering the inventory window, and as it works out, either Control or Tab is making me slide that way, and I'm not sure which one it is. So we're going to go ahead and remove some resources, because these are all resources that are gatherable. We're going to start up here with an area like that. And we're going to kind of go that and that, because this is going to be our initial town setup. It's going to be along here. The next thing we're going to need is we're going to definitely need a stockpile. We're just going to use a general one. Let's see. You know what, I'm actually going to move it to square north-south. There's the storage bin, so we're going to go ahead and just put a stockpile like that. And we're going to go ahead and tell everybody, these are the top priority, make that a thing. Now, let's go ahead and get time started again. Now, I like to run at speed plus 10. Because, I mean, the lower speeds are pretty, like times 5. This is really pretty. And 1 is uncomfortably close to real time. It's not, but we'll run on 5 for the sake of me keeping high frame rate. Although I just updated to the better codecs and got the graphics drivers updated, so with all that, it should run like a dream anyway. Old habits, I usually spin my view around a lot, but I'm trying to not do that for the sake of it. Video integrity. Oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot of new houses, but for the most part, we're gonna be running a lot of the vanilla stuff out of the gate. What's that? Reserve of logs is low. Hey! Skyline has become an adult and is now working as later. Oh, all the names are randomly generated, which I think is incredibly cool. Also, for those of you who didn't notice, I've been accused of saying, hey, it'll be fine, it'll all work out enough. Then one of the guys actually got me a poster now that says, Houston, we have a problem, in the back. So, that was entertaining. We're going to throw a house up down here as well. Okay, where's everybody go? Everybody's taking lunch break. Okay, so now they're on lunch break. So at this stage, there's very little we can actually be doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to do some top-down planning a little bit. So a couple of basic things you need. I'm going to pause the game while I don't need to pause the game while I talk. We're running slow enough that we can just let this go. So a couple of basic things you need. You need food and shelter are the two things you need before winter. After that, you need a wood source, a more permanent wood source. So the way that works is there are these buildings called Foresters someplace. Here, just Forester's Lodge. What that does is it's a guy who basically is a park ranger who goes out and he picks up all the various rocks and iron ore and plants trees. Another thing is that as trees grow up, he then will harvest the trees. And that then gives you a wood supply. Now they're getting the fishing dock built, which is good. I'm gonna go down to 3 builders because I want to run the full 4 fishermen out of the gate for the sake of efficiency. What a woodcutter's lodge also does is, since it has an area of pure forest, it guarantees there will always be woods there. So it lets you have higher efficiency of things like gatherers' huts, hunting lodges, things of that nature. It's currently 76 degrees. I'm running everything in Imperial. I'm saying it now. It is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. That is not Celsius. Because this game has some weird units of measurement. Like time. Time does not run normally in Banished. People's age, I believe, is in seasons, not years. And they're not people. I say that in that they're grown and ready to work at 10 years old. Like, it sounds right, but I promise you it isn't. They grow a lot faster than that. Alright, so now we're going to start looking at getting our woodcutters set up. Okay, we need to pause for a second, because I want to think about this. So, we've got some nice mountains here, which is good for mining and things of that nature. Got a clearing here, but this is a lot of flat area, so I'm thinking we're eventually going to have farming set up all down through this. This seems a little bit flat too, but there's a couple of these like odd bumps which you can't actually build on, which is strange. I mean, I get it's classified as a mountain by the game, so I can't actually build here. So that makes this kind of weird. Now with this is the Hunter's Lodge. So the radius... Actually, I know it's a clearing, but that actually seems like it might be a decent idea to put it in there. It's hard to say. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of pick a spot. So this is going to be kind of our startup town area. So I want it away from that, but not covering any hills. So like right there is where I'm going to put it. So right on the edge. Let's see if I can find it again. There it is. Okay, so we're going to put a dirt road there and like that. So now, if you're going to have a forester's lodge, there are a few buildings that synergize with that. A hunter's cabin, a gatherer's hut. There's another little hill right there. It's just going to kind of get in the way. Actually, we want the gatherer's hut on the back side, I think. And then we can also put in, if I can find it, a herbalist. Because what a herbalist does is they collect herbs and such, and away you go. Now, this is going to be kind of aggravating. Oh well, it'll be fine. It'll all work out. It might look a little wonky, but it'll all work out. A little stockpile here for them to put the logs. And we're also going to stick a storage barn just in this area anyway. Because reasons. Okay. And that'll work. So that gets us a woodcutter area. And the other thing we need is, if we're going to do that, we need a woodcutter, a proper woodcutter, so that we can cut firewood. And another thing that we're going to run out of really quickly, if I can find it, is going to be blacksmith's tools. So the smithy stuff. So we're going to put a blacksmith in as well. That gets us the basics of survival. So we have a food source. We're going to have a few more food sources. And we're going to have lumber, we're going to have a blacksmith, and we need to get this house built. Before anything else happens, make that house a thing. So I just increased its priority a lot. And at this point we're going to go ahead and bump up to speed 10 because I find speed 5 to be incredibly slow. And we now have a pretty good plan of what our objective is. Now, a few things I am going to note. We do want to put a couple houses up down here. And for the sake of theme, I'm going to put in log cabins. I wonder, could I fit a couple in here? Wow, I spaced that terribly. That's fine though. So that gets us a pair of log cabins just to help support the population that's going to be down here eventually. Whereas up here, I'm going to go ahead and run a road around like this. And we're going to stick 3 more houses on the backside. Because we have 4 families. And they have children, so it's going to probably give us 5 or 6 by the time it's all said and done. Each family needs a house to make more children, because you're not doing that in public. You can do that in front of the kids. These are one-room houses. That's fine. It's always good for them to know where they came from. However, that'd be spontaneous appearance on account of the fact that a male and a female both happen to be living in the same house. That is all you need. Nothing else has to happen. Then everyone have to go there. No, really, I'm not kidding. Like, one of them can be working in the fishing dock, and the other one can be over here cutting wood, and all of a sudden, oh, a child was born. Magic. In actuality, it's just an abstraction, but I'm going with magic until someone tells me otherwise. So 2 houses will give us 5. That'll be good for a startup. Now it's just a matter of letting it all build. This is the nice thing about this game. It's just very relaxing. I love the soundtrack too. Just most good. Now the only problem is I'm out of tea. And for those of you who know me, when I run out of tea, it's a sad, sad day in the home of the Silver Ghost. Do I want to stick another stockpile in here? No. No, we're not going to do that. I was thinking about it, but no. Okay, so now it's winter, as you can see from the... Actually, it's only late autumn. On the plus side, we do have a house built, so there is some source of warmth and shelter. And we got the wood cutter, which is important, because that means that we're going to be able to cut firewood. Firewood is critically important, because it lets you not freeze to death, as you can see from already coming inside and getting warmed up, and going back out. I should probably figure out clothing at some point, but right now it's fine. We have firewood, and it's all you actually need. Firewood and someplace to burn it. In this case, a house. There's a log cabin down here that only has 1 fisherman. Really? Orel, who's a female, who's 11, took a house when there's all these homeless people. You selfish little girl. You are a selfish human being who isn't actually human. Don't ask. I don't know. Outside of my field of expertise. Oh. The other big plus of herbalists is actually now that we're seeing this all cleared off. I really placed this oddly. That'll be fine though. Yeah, it'll work out. I do believe that it'll try to finagle people around, but I don't know if it's actually that smart or not. It might be. But because of that, I know most definitely we're going to need another house someplace. I'm thinking we put something else up down here. I wonder, is there anything in here that I can, like, just finagle a 2-spacer? Now, okay, here's the thing. This game has a lot, with the mod, has a... Okay, make that 2,000. Just add a 0. I'll just do that with the keyboard. So that we can guarantee that this building is at least operational. Is there something we could use? Shacks. Okay, shacks are kind of shit. I'm not going to deny that. Salt box. Nope. Let's see. Colonials. Oh, those are going to be big. New England style. Half capes, cape cottages, double cape. That's expensive. To 5 occupants. Ah! Yes, we can use capes. Problem solved. So we're going to stick a pair of cape cottage. Ooh, there are multiple kinds of cape cottage. So we hit F, apparently it changes the color, which is cool. Yes, I am a complete scrub. So we're going to do that. We're just going to have a pair of cape houses there. It's going to look a little odd, but that'll be fine. It'll all work out just fine. Alright, let's get 1 less fisherman so we can get another, we can get a hunter going. It's another thing that the mod that Colonial Charter does is it gives you a lot of new models for things. Like houses, and an additional thing. Like these cottages, for example. They're not going to be quite as good as if I had a proper log cabin, but they're capes. They're cottages. It'll be fine. No problems here. Alright. We are going to decrease the herbalists down to 1, because I see no reason to ever have more than 1 herbalist. However, I see no reason to have a cap on the number of herbs either. Because herbs are incredible for trade. I don't know why, but apparently elsewhere in the world they're not all that common. We just pick them up off the ground. But what herbs will do is their advantage is twofold. One, we now, with a herbalist, we have very, like, basic medical care. Oh, you have an upset stomach? Well, we can fix that. Maybe. Stay away from the hemlock. This is not Crusader Kings. Don't worry, we'll be doing that later. Actually, I have a multiplayer let's play of Crusader Kings kicking around at some point. I haven't finished setting it up yet. But it will be a good time. It will be a good time. So just got everything building. It's nice. It's quiet. Reserve of tools is low. Okay. Tools are becoming an issue. So what we need to do is we need to clear more land. Let's just go ahead and clear this block. We're specifically going to look for iron ore. Is there any iron just around? There's an iron ore deposit. Okay. So iron ore is a new thing in that in the base game it's just iron, and when you collect it you can just pick it up off the ground, fully smelted, it's ready to go. You don't need a refinery or anything, and it can just go right to the blacksmith. That's not how it actually works, which Colonial Charter does make a point of adjusting, moving it over so we have 2 laborers and 1 builder, because we're not actually having any. We have constructions possible, but we're not actually building any of it yet. Let's go ahead and mark all this stone for removal as well. Let me look. Is there any buildings then that would let us mine, renewably mine? Because I don't remember. I know there's a mod for it in the proper game, but I like to avoid. Upgraded versions allow the ground to be reclaimed on removal. So if you can reclaim the ground on removal, that functionally means you can remove it and then put it right back, which is good. Alright, so we got 3 laborers. Yeah, this is a huge priority. What are we missing? Stone. Okay, so we need stone. Well, that's stone. Grab that. Those are stones. Oh, hang on. I was dumb. There we go. I want that stone. I want it removed quickly. Especially these. And then make sure that's a higher priority. Okay. And for those of you who are interested in my streams, they're coming along. I haven't really had time to do a lot of them, which is why I switched over to just proper recording. Plus, when I'm doing it this way, I can bring you guys content in 1080p, as opposed to when I'm streaming. When I'm streaming, I can only do 720. I've tried recording in higher, and I have either lag spikes or similar issues that make it hard to work with. I'm not going to say unplayable, but So that is the direction we went in. Reserve of stone is low. Well, no kidding, the reserve of stone is low. We have no stone. And we've actually already made it through our first year. This is on the end of year 2. Now, when I first started playing this game, it was impressive just to make it through the first year. So the fact that we've made it this far is actually kind of impressive, as we're now coming into late winter and the spring of the next year. Now, admittedly, we started on hard, but the big survival threat that is winter we've already got, it's come and gone. The issue now we're running into is we have no tools. And the next thing we need to start thinking about is, do we or do we not want to deal with educating our people? Now, educating people has 2 big pros and 1 big con. Pro number 1, they're more efficient. So a person who is educated and working is going to produce more than an equivalent person who is uneducated and working. So educated people are better. Educated people are also less likely to die of stupid crap. And when I say stupid crap, what I mean is, say you're working in a quarry and you have a rock fall on them, or they make cave-ins less likely, and just in general, they're less likely to trip, fall on their face, and die. Now, the drawback to educating people is then you have to dedicate people to educating people. You need teachers. If you want to learn, if you want to have education, you need to have teachers. I know, who knew, right? Teachers are important. Anyway. Let me stay off my soapbox for a little while. And... Alright, there we go. See, now the tool problem is going away, because we're getting tools manufactured out of the iron ore and such. Now, in a perfect world, we'd go ahead and start finagling with smelting, but I think that's not the highest priority yet. I'm thinking our big priority now is just get everybody in a house. We have the groundwork laid over here to get more. It's just a matter of we're short on stone. Now, stone and iron are both going to become a problem, so I'm going to go ahead and just mark this strip for removal as well, because I'd like to be able to have an idea of what's going on. Oh, some of those were covered by you. And, oh, okay, no, it's fine. You can always replant. Well, let's cancel this particular block. Okay. Let our forester do his job. So what the forester's doing is he'll go around and plant trees and cut trees. I think I already said that, but I'm saying it again just to make sure everybody understands. Now what this arrow means is that we've reached the ceiling of production, because I have this currently set to our fuel limit is 500 units of firewood. Now when you're not, somebody's job is maxed out like that, they'll actually default back to being a laborer. You don't need to reassign them, you don't need to do anything, but they'll go do the job of laborer. So cutting resources, moving things around, etc., etc. Cape Cottage. Okay, so now at this point we have everybody has a house. I'm going to go ahead and look around quick and see if there's any more children's sets that can turn it. There's a lot of boys who can get a house and start making babies. No. Now Gracie, there's two E's, so it is pronounced Grace E, has her choice. There's she can have Freem at 7, and Corrado, who's 6. They're all about the same age, and 2 of them are getting married eventually. It'd be odd if it ended up being these 2. I'm not gonna judge, but it would be kind of odd since they're set up to go that way. So we have about a year or so before we need another house, is what that tells me. I'm also curious if we want to cross the river. I'm thinking not this episode, maybe next episode, but we will see. Let's see if we can start wrapping stuff up. Oh, the next thing we need to do is make sure the storage cart goes. Oh, we have a debt! Lion the laborer died during childbirth. Damn it! Okay, so the reason why childbirth deaths are bad is A, they're unpreventable, and 2, you lose both the mother and the kid. That's terrible. Emil and Normanda. Now, an entertaining betting game would be, now do you think these kids are males or females? Because I don't think the game distinguishes with the names at all. So going ahead and getting a basic hospital up does not seem like a terrible idea. Lumber. That's going to be the last thing we do this episode. We're going to get the lumber industry set up. So, to do lumber, we need, I can't read that. It's in the way. We're going to need a lumber mill. So, now these come in a couple different varieties. You can go with a basic something like a lumber yard or something like that. Or we can go big or go home and get a sawmill. Now, I'm a big proponent of just saying, screw it, let's go straight to a sawmill. Plus, that'll obsolete our woodcutter, because we'll cut the amount of lumber we need for various building projects, then we'll switch it over and have it cut firewood. So one of the advantages of going with the big one is it can produce lumber or firewood. No, I want the rustic looking one. We're going to stick it right there. So that's going to be the last building project before we call it a day. That, and I'm also going to queue up another house, although I'm not quite sure which one I want to go with yet. I think we're going to just put another wooden house in like that. Now, a few other things we need to start thinking about. Do we want to do cemetery? How do we want to set up trade? Various things of that nature. There's ginger kicking around. Let's see, what's everybody producing? So, our gatherer's hut is going to give us ginger, onions, wild seeds, mushrooms, roots, and blueberries. All of those are edible. Kind of. Our hunter has gotten us some leather, venison, bone meal, onions, apparently. Oh, gotta hunt those onions! They're very dangerous! Yeah, everybody's getting onions. Why is everybody collecting onions? What's so good about onions? Okay, so now we have this house built. So it's going to sit idle for a little while until there are people able to occupy it. Specifically, it's going to be Freeum, and I'm willing to guarantee it's going to be Freeum and Gracie. And the other thing we want to do is we probably want to look at setting up a school. We'll just go with the classic school. It's the same one as in the base game. Because it fits in nice there. I think that looks pretty. And then we can go ahead and take this road and push it out this way. Alright, so this is actually a hell of a good start. All things considered. That's been half an hour, so that means it's time to end this episode. Welcome to Banished! Hopefully we'll be continuing this series as we go along. We will see. Anyway. Hopefully we'll pick up from here next time I come back. I will not run any without you guys, I promise. Alright, so, with that, thank you very much. I am the Silver Ghost, and welcome to Banished.